Over the course of its development, the field of organizational behavior, OB, has evolved significantly. Early approaches were relatively simplistic and mechanical, focusing primarily on maximizing efficiency and productivity. However, as the importance of human factors in organizations became more apparent, OB theories gradually shifted toward understanding the psychological and social needs of individuals within organizations. The historical evolution of OB can be divided into three key stages: early management theories, the human relations movement, and the behavioral science approach. Each of these phases made significant contributions to the way we understand and approach organizational behavior today. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, early management theories were primarily concerned with increasing efficiency and improving organizational output. The focus was on managing the organization as a machine, with employees treated as parts of the system rather than individuals with personal needs and motivations. These theories laid the groundwork for the formal study of organizational behavior, even though they often overlooked human factors. Frederick Taylor's scientific management theory, one of the most influential early theories, was Frederick Winslow Taylor's scientific management theory, developed in the late 19th century. Taylor, a mechanical engineer, sought to improve productivity by applying scientific methods to work processes. He believed that tasks should be broken down into simple, repetitive tasks, and that workers should be closely supervised and incentivized to follow prescribed procedures. His emphasis on efficiency and standardization led to significant productivity gains in industries like manufacturing. However, Taylor's approach largely ignored the human aspect of work. Workers were seen as mere cogs in a machine, and their personal motivations, job satisfaction, and well-being were not considered essential to organizational success. Despite its successes in improving efficiency, Taylor's approach faced criticism for treating workers as tools rather than individuals. Henri Fayol's administrative management theory at around the same time, Henri Fayol, a French industrialist, introduced his administrative management theory. Fayol's approach focused more on the managerial functions within an organization, arguing that management should focus on activities such as planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. He identified 14 principles of management, such as division of work, authority, and discipline, that he believed could be applied universally in any organization. While Fayol's theory emphasized a more systematic and structured approach to management, it still failed to consider the psychological needs of workers. Fayol's principles were more concerned with improving efficiency and control rather than addressing human factors like motivation, communication, and leadership. Max Weber's bureaucratic management theory. Max Weber, a German sociologist, contributed to management theory with his bureaucratic management theory, which focused on creating a rational and efficient organization through a hierarchical structure. Weber argued that organizations should have clearly defined rules, procedures, and roles to ensure efficiency and reduce ambiguity. His theory emphasized a formalized, hierarchical approach to management, where authority is based on rules and expertise rather than personal relationships. Though Weber's model was effective in establishing order and control, it also had its drawbacks. Bureaucratic organizations tended to become rigid and impersonal, leaving little room for flexibility or consideration of the human needs of employees. By the 1930s, it became clear that the early management theories, which focused solely on efficiency and structure, were inadequate in addressing the complexities of human behavior in organizations. The human relations movement emerged as a response to these limitations, highlighting the importance of social factors, communication, and employee well-being in influencing organizational success. The Hawthorne studies and key findings. A significant milestone in the human relations movement was the Hawthorne studies, conducted at the Western Electric Company in Chicago during the 1920s and 1930s. Initially, The researchers were investigating how different levels of lighting affected worker productivity. However, the findings were surprising. Regardless of the lighting conditions, productivity increased simply because the workers were being observed and given attention. This phenomenon, later known as the Hawthorne effect, suggested that employees' motivation and productivity were influenced not just by physical conditions, but also by the psychological and social aspects of the work environment. The attention and care given to workers by researchers made them feel valued, which led to improved performance. Elton Mayo and the human relations approach. Elton Mayo, one of the leading figures in the human relations movement, played a pivotal role in interpreting the findings of the Hawthorne studies. Mayo argued that the social and emotional needs of workers were just as important, if not more so, than the physical conditions of the workplace. He believed that when employees felt valued and supported by their managers and colleagues, their job satisfaction and productivity improved. The human relations movement shifted the focus from purely mechanical and efficiency-driven approaches to a recognition of the importance of human factors in organizations. However, this movement still did not fully account for the complexities of human behavior and motivation, and it continued to focus on generalizations rather than individual differences. By the 1950s, scholars began to integrate insights from psychology, sociology, and other behavioral sciences into the study of organizational behavior. This new behavioral science approach emphasized understanding the complexities of human behavior and sought to apply scientific research to improve organizational practices. This approach moved beyond the simple observation of behavior to explore the underlying psychological processes that drive individuals within organizations. Abraham Maslow and the hierarchy of needs theory, a foundational concept in the behavioral science approach, was Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, which proposed that human beings have a series of needs, organized in a hierarchical order. Maslow argued that individuals must satisfy lower-level needs, such as physiological and safety needs, before they can focus on higher-level needs, such as social belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. His theory became a cornerstone for understanding employee motivation and behavior. According to Maslow, organizations should not only focus on providing financial rewards and job security, lower-level needs, but also consider how they can help employees achieve personal fulfillment and self-actualization through opportunities for growth, recognition, and creative expression. Douglas McGregor and Theory X and Theory Y. Another important development in the behavioral science approach was Douglas McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y, introduced in the 1960s. McGregor proposed two distinct models of management based on different assumptions about human nature. Theory X assumes that employees are inherently lazy, dislike work, and must be closely supervised and controlled. In contrast, Theory Y assumes that employees are self-motivated, enjoy work, and seek opportunities for growth and development. McGregor's theories challenged traditional assumptions about human behavior in organizations and provided a framework for more participative and democratic management styles. Theory Y, in particular, emphasized the importance of empowering employees and recognizing their potential for self-direction. Herzberg's two-factor theory in the 1950s, Frederick Herzberg developed the two-factor theory, which posited that there are two types of factors that influence job satisfaction: hygiene factors and motivators. Hygiene factors, such as salary, working conditions, and company policies, are necessary to prevent dissatisfaction, but do not lead to long-term satisfaction. Motivators, such as achievement, recognition, and personal growth, are what truly drive employees to feel engaged and satisfied with their work. Herzberg's theory reinforced the idea that organizations must focus on both addressing basic needs, hygiene factors, and providing opportunities for intrinsic motivation, motivators, to create a productive and satisfied workforce. The evolution of organizational behavior theories reflects a shift from purely mechanistic and efficiency-driven models to a deeper understanding of human nature and its influence on organizational performance. From the early management theories of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, which focused on maximizing productivity, to the human relations movement, which emphasized the social and emotional needs of employees, and finally to the behavioral science approach, which integrates psychology and social science to better understand motivation and behavior. OB has developed into a multifaceted and nuanced field. Each phase of this evolution has contributed to a richer, more holistic understanding of how organizations function and how to optimize both organizational effectiveness and employee satisfaction.